access to the story says tax governance on food security, says states must work together to deliver on critical reforms. Details of that you find on page 4 of the Daily Times for this morning. Still on the Daily Times, National Assembly extends implementation of 2023 Appropriations Supplementary Acts December, and you have this one: no request for new presidential plane, but we consider if it comes, says the Senate. You know, the news has been everywhere saying, oh, the Senate has approved a new presidential jet for the president, but that has been denied. But here is Mr. Senate President saying if that request comes, it's likely going to be considered. So what difference does it make? Well, details of that you find on the Daily Times for this morning. Yes, from the front page to some of the inner pages there. And still on the Daily Times, we have this one: FG stakeholders unite to end child labor in Nigeria. Details of that is on page 9 of the Daily Times, as AG Health assures workers of better minimum wage. You find details of that on page 4 also of the Daily Times for this morning. Don't stay abroad to destroy Nigeria. Army advises Nigerians. I believe it's Nigerians in diaspora. You check details of that on page 9 of the Daily Times for this morning. And federal government committed to prosperity of MSMEs. That you find that says Shetima, the vice president. That's on the front page of the Daily Times this morning as well. From the Daily Times, let's check Nigerian News Direct. On Nigerian News Direct, we have this one: pre-made sponsorship, mixed reactions trail Nation's operations as governors slam inefficiency. All right, 90 billion naira subsidy not for sponsorship but to help stranded pilgrims, says Morik. National VC of Council of Ulama backs Governor Bago on probe of NACON. It's time to end pilgrimage sponsorship. Bishop Emma Isong blows hot. Alright, details of that is on page 11 of the Nigerian News Direct for this morning. And we have this one as well: minimum wage, we will pay what we can, Southern Governor said. You find that on page 2 of the Nigerian News Direct for this morning, as you also have this one on page 8: private aircraft operators abating money laundering and drug trafficking, says Kayamo. Alright, find details on page 8 of the Nigerian News Direct this morning. And still on the Nigerian News Direct is this one: a second legislative year. We must support executive to renew hope of Nigerians. Akpabio to lawmakers. Find out on page 22 of the Nigerian News Direct. Moving from Nigerian News Direct, we have the New Telegraph as well. On the New Telegraph is this one: forest crisis, high-profile retail supermarkets mall exit from Nigeria. This is on page 3 as sales drops 50%. Cargo clearing, multiple taxation, and all the factors fingered as reasons for this exit. Alright, you also have this one still on the New Telegraph: democracy requires constant nurturing, vigilance, says Abdusalami, as Ozekome seeks electoral courts. Alright, details of that is on page 2 of the New Telegraph. Oborivori, Nigeria needs tested, proven Federation account management. You find that on pages 2 and 5 of the New Telegraph this morning. Teachers Union to federal government. What do they say? reverse decision to stop funding TRCN, and says keeping children out of school will lead to generational poverty, that says federal government. We find the debate on pages 2 and 4 of the New Telegraph for this morning. And here is one. Army promotes Nigeria's first Sandhurst trained female officer. You find details of that on pages 3 and 4 of the New Telegraph as well. Then from the New Telegraph, let's check another newspaper for this morning. That's talking about the Guardian. System undermines school enrollments, and there's this there's this image there. You have one businessman, uh, holding some wads of money, and a younger fellow trashing the books and the bag, the school books and bag, says, Eze goes to school, but where are the jobs? That's a big question for all stakeholders to answer this morning. If Eze goes to school, where are the jobs? After all, most Nigerians, the end result of schooling is to, get some gainful employment. Well, check details of that. I bet it's going to be an interesting read on pages 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper for this morning. And still on the Guardian, court halts removal of Sokoto district heads, asks government to maintain status quo. That's still on the emirate crisis. Okay, okay, there's another one in Sokoto. All right, check details of that on page 28 of the Guardian for this morning. And so on the Guardian, oil refiners back Dangote, decry IOC's alleged sabotage. All right, you find details of that on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And from Mr. Vice President, Economic Council silent on minimum wage as Vice President presides over NEC meeting. All right, you find details of that on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And more on the request for presidential jet is on page 6 of the Guardian, as well as Mr. Senate President Akpabio to approve requests for jets, not even one, jets, as National Assembly okays validity of 2023 budget. You want to know why there's going to be a request, or why there's a desire to approve if a request be placed? I think it's better you take a read of page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning to understand, maybe from the presidential point of view. Alright, and still on the Guardian is this one, which of course some of our discussions this morning is going to be based on. That's cholera. Katsina confirms 2 cases, 118 under watch. So you have details of that on 28 of the Guardian newspaper for this rolls out construction programs. You have details of that on page 29 of the Daily Independent. And on page 7, food crisis. Federal government states to distribute free fertilizers to farmers. There's a sharing one there. We hope they get it in due time, when it's needed. And you also have this one on page 7 as well. We won't allow Tinubu suffer Malawian, Iranian president's fate, says Pabio. Says president hasn't requested approval for any presidential jet. Then, if you have requests, the chances are you approve. Alright, details of that is on page 7 of the Daily Independent. Edo Ondo Gubers. We won't allow anybody to snatch or run with our victory, says PDP. Find details of that on page 6 of the Daily Independence for this morning. And still on the Daily Independence, we have this one: troop repels attack on Ebonyi police station, kill 5 terrorists. Victims, there's victims here. You find details of that on page 6 of the Daily Independent as well. EFCC bus orders arrest of officers for assaulting hotel workers. You have that on page 6 of the Daily Independent as well. Still on the page 6 is the story too: cut governance cost, stop aircraft purchase, Zekume tells Tinubu. Right, and lastly, from the Daily Independent, let's check minimum wage. I think the debate continues, so check the Daily Independent for the arguments of the governors regarding why they feel they should pay according to their abilities. Each state paying what they think they can afford. Alright, this is how far we'll be going on the newspaper's headlines for this morning. We'll take a short break now, and when we are back, we'll have the discussion on the table. Don't go away.
As Nigerians, we must remind ourselves that no matter how complicated democracy may be, it is the best form of governance in the long run. We must also be aware that there are those among us who will try to exploit current challenges to undermine, if not destroy, this democracy for which so much has already been given. This is the great battle of our day, and the major reason we specially celebrate this day as Democracy Day. The true meaning of the day is not to focus solely on the great deeds of the past that have brought us to this point. Yes, we pay eternal honor to those who laid down their lives, sacrificing everything to pave the way for the nation.
still with us on AM today, as we promised that we'll return from that break, we'll be talking about the issue for today. And it bothers on the outbreak of cholera. You know, some weeks ago, there was a report of cholera outbreak in Lagos State, spread into some other states. In fact, this morning, we read concerning the incidences in Katsina State. And to discuss this with us this morning, we've got in the house a sanitarian, Mr. Dayo Ogidingbe. Yes, it's nice to have you in the studio with us.
Thank you, presenter, and our people out there. Thank you for joining us on this program.
All right, we want to look at sanitation, as a way of cholera prevention as well, because they say prevention is better than cure. I think for now, in the state, there has not been any report of cholera incidents. But am I right?
Yes, we thank God, and we want to appreciate our people, sanitarians in the town. We appreciate them for working, for going out to sensitize our people and to ensure that all the ways and all the ways that all the ways are covered to ensure that everything is okay in our dear state. And we thank God, and God is helping us, and we are praying that it will not come. So sanitation is one of the best ways to ensure that cholera is not seen in our dear state here. And as a sanitarian, you said something. You said prevention is better than cure, and I want to put something that is better and cheaper. It's cheaper because the amount you use for prevention is more cheaper than the amount you use for curative.
All right, let me ask that. How is cholera a concern for sanitarians or environmentalists?
All right, cholera is one of the environmental concern diseases, which by the fact of when there is a poor sanitation, it's through dirty environment, cholera can set in to any particular environment, and through that, as a sanitarian, we are the officers involved in ensuring that our communities, our surroundings are clean. So that's our assignment given by the government under the law. And at every point, we are to go out to ensure that the community, our environment are clean from any form of unhygienic practice. So, and through that, and which we know, cholera has been one of the oldest diseases that we have in the world, not even in Nigeria alone. We've been personally, I've heard about cholera outbreak over 2-3 decades ago, even in Nigeria here, and some other part of the world, which is not a friendly disease. That when it happens, it spreads sporadically, move very faster at every point, and it's all the signs and all the route of transmissions are all environmental concern.
Okay, maybe you should highlight this route.
All right, the route of transmission can be through water, can be through food. And how is it through water? When we consume, when we drink or take or use unclean water that has been contaminated, or anything that is produced with water, like all those, everything from water aerated industries, not only sachet or bottled water we're talking about now. Okay. Now we produce water with several things. We'll be hearing several news in the social media mentioning names of
all those drinks, homemade drinks,
homemade drinks, yes. That now is forbidden, or one way or the other. We should be careful. Yes, it's not only the approved, let me say, the approved one that we know, that this sachet, this bottled water, no, but this one that are locally made by people struggling to make ends meet. So, and in the process of that, they may produce it in an unconducive and unhygienic manner, in the process of trying to, and with that, not minding the effect that it can cause, bringing it to the public for sales, and people consume at every point. And when you are tasting, you don't want to know the labels of anything you are doing. You just bring it and you see why this thing is very common in in advanced state. Let me call them advanced state. Like we have this cholera as very rampant now in Lagos State. It's because the population there, everybody is
in urban
area now. The population there is very, very large, and people are trying to do one or two things to ensure that they just feel themselves.
They want to eat on the
we
go.
want to eat on the go. And people in Lagos, via their engagement, via their business, they don't want to care for anything that comes up. You eat on the run in Lagos. You drink on run, because at every point they are very, very busy. And with that, not minding what they put in their mouth, this disease can set in.
In other words, these street foods, they're not really the source. What matters is how they are being prepared.
How they are being prepared. Yes, we're privileged to inspect one of these eateries sometimes ago.
Eateries also.
Eatery. I'm talking about eatery now.
Okay.
I want to start from eatery.
Okay.
Eatery that are very large, that has a name, and at every point when you enter, they welcome you officially, and the AC, everything is
Customer
packaged.
area is set.
Everything is packaged, but we, as a sanitarian, we will go to the inner where customer cannot access, and because of our assignment, we have access to everywhere. So, and we assess them, and we discover that it is seriously bad. It is seriously bad. And we have some in one of these local government in Ondo State here. The water they used was from the stream behind, which they just pipe it down. They put a pipe in the stream, that when you trace the source of the stream, coming from up, people are defecating in the source. People are dumping waste in the source from up. And when they now get down to them, they just put a pipe and pick the water to their storage, claiming it's treated, and they use it for their
Because the way
claiming, I said claiming.
The description,
that is
description you're giving,
is
quite
irritating.
Yes.
And because it's our job,
And did you bother to confirm if actually their claim was right or wrong?
The cleaning, the treatment, they claims to be, because we have right to inspect everywhere, and by the virtue of our assignment, we take our time to inspect even the storage where they put their water. They did not deny that the water is being picked from that stream, because we saw the pipe, we saw the piping, even though they tried to cover it with some things and one way or the other, but we traced it and we discovered that the water is from that stream. And the claims of treatment, which we asked them, can we see some of the treatment material that you are using? But they couldn't produce anything. So on that, the place was sealed. The place was sealed. I'm talking about some years ago now. The place was sealed because the production, people will just rush in and sit in the hall where they serve the food, not minding, and it's not their fault. They don't have the right to check inside. But what we are just saying is that people can go to any lengths to make money, not minding the effects that it can cause to the general public.
You've actually made a big exposition here today, because most times people feel if they go to those big brands, those touche outlets, that the hygiene is guaranteed. But here you are this morning telling us that it's not always that those big brands you see, those fancy outlets are actually fanciful if you had access to the inner places. Whereas we could have some mama puts and the woman is trying her best to make it tidy.
Yes, that is what I'm trying. That is where I'm heading to. The news around has condemned, seriously put a condemnation on those small outlets. Yes, and I'm just trying to bring it up down that those small outlets in accordance with the law, everybody is equal, but we tend to look down on them via that they are not rich or whatever, and their places are not that so fanciful, and with that we tend to put it on them that they are the cause. I'm only bringing it up to let us know that both those that are fanciful and those that are trying to, everybody should be conscious of how we manage both our water and the food production, so that at every point we will not consume what will now lead to a disease in our body. So at every point we should try to ensure that everything we use is under hygienic manner, so that this disease can also be able to set in.
Okay, yeah, yes, you've said so much about the food and the water,
And the water.
Aspect of it, but as a community, it's said that cholera spreads fast, in
Yes.
an unhygienic environment, so that means it could easily become a communal disease in a
Yes,
short
yes.
while. So as a community, maybe on the streets, in a town, village, and all that, what can the people do to ensure that their environment is safe against cholera?
Yes, and that is why it's now a public health issue. Sanitation is what is very, very essential. And when we're talking about sanitation, it cuts across all areas of life. We have personal hygiene, we have environmental hygiene. So environmental hygiene has to do with the cleaning of our surroundings to ensure that they are safe and they are not leading to any sorts of infections, like as our drainages, our source of water supplies, our general surrounding anyway. We should ensure that we clean them. And like tomorrow now is environmental sanitation in Ondo State. Everybody should be involved in ensuring that their surroundings are well maintained and well cleaned. It's not for the government, it's for ourselves. Encouraging you to clean your environment, encouraging you to take care of your surrounding is for yourself. It's not for the government. Government will not come and live in your house with you. You are the owner of your environment. So at that, and there's this saying in our profession that it is what you give to your environment that your environment will give back to you. If you are the type that you are not careful about cleanliness, be expecting what's that thing to happen, because where there is unhygienic practice, there's every tendency that there will be outbreak. And that is why we're encouraging everybody that, because if it happens, it will go beyond where it originated. It will spread to other part of the state, other part of the town. And I was telling some people some days ago that when you prepare a food here in a non-hygienic manner, it's not only people in that environment that will hate the food. Some people can buy it here from this station now, you can buy from this environment now and take it far to other places. And when they eat it, it will spread. So, and on our personal hygiene has to do with our body self, and cleaning ourselves, maintaining ourselves. People that are having wound or sore in their body should not prepare food. There are many businesses that we can do that does not have contact with that may not have contact with food. Yes, we are not encouraging people to is like a form of poison the world. So for that, if you are not fit medically, we conduct a test for food handlers. We call it medical fitness.
Do you do that?
We do that
How often?
on regular basis. Depends on the arrangement of each local government, because we do it at the local government level. So most of the local government do it quarterly. Most of the local government do it yearly, and like that. And at every point, before you can be issued a certificate of fitness by the environmental health officers in a local government, they must carry out fitness examination. Fitness examination will involve taking your sputums, your urine, and your feces to the lab to ensure that you are personally fit to operate.
But that's just for the proprietors. What about their apprentices and the
Yes,
people that work
that
with
is
them?
what we used to
Do you test all of them?
We tend to ask them, those that are involved in the preparation, in a food vendors something, they may be up to 10, but 5 may be in the service area and 2 may be in the production side. So we tend to have issues and to ensure that we do the test for those that are involved in the production area. So because we tend to be considerate one way or the other, and those that are involved in the production area are those ones that handle the material, the food, the preparation, taste it, put ends into all those materials, and when they are not properly protected, there's every tendency that there will be outbreak. So, and again, from those that are producing water, the water factories, yes, we also do carry out the same test, we also carry out the same examination on them. But the reason why those that are producing water, using water for production, like those small scale, many of them produce in their rooms. It's only when they now bring the material out to sell that we have access to them. Many of them can produce from as far as going down the street, but bring it later to it. We may not know where they are producing. But at every point where we have a contact with them, we seize their products and ask them to take us to where they are producing. But at the same time, we discover that those production areas may not be clean. And we are afraid if that should continue, it can cause outbreak.
Well, let's take it back a little. That we're not having instances of cholera in Ondo State yet means that probably there are some things that we're doing right. So, what are sanitarians doing?
Thank you.
Are you working in isolation, or you're working in collaboration with other agencies
Yes.
to achieve this?
Thank you very much. In Ondo State here, I want to appreciate, firstly, let's appreciate our governor for doing wonders, change in the state. In some months, some years back, in Akure, the state capital, we discovered that one way or the other, we are sanitarians, we are seeing it, and we are doing our best. The street is somehow messed up, which everybody is complaining. No, what are the sanitarians doing? What are the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Environment doing? Waste everywhere. And we thank God for our governor now. If you go around the town now, go around the streets of Akure, you discover that before 6:30 a.m. in the morning, you won't find any waste on the road. And part of what can cause this disease is waste management. So we thank God that that has been settled, and we are praying for our governor to do more. And doing more is to provide to the authority more waste van to ensure that this work moves more faster. And on that, at the level of our association, we have been trying to sensitize our people. I was going through some record of our sanitarians in local governments about 2-3 days ago. They are all out to ensure that people are sensitized. Right from the market, we have larger people in the market square, in the marketplaces. I was looking at Akoko Southwest this morning, and they are everywhere. They are everywhere with megaphone, with public address systems to talk to people and to sensitize them on what is involved in containing this disease. And as well, we are, like I mentioned the earlier time, that our water-rated factories, our food vendors, we are on them to ensure that their production is sanitary. And as well, we are everywhere in the street to ensure that waste are properly managed. And on that, doing that as a sanitarian, we want to thank God that now we don't have any cases of cholera here, and we are not praying for it, and it will not come to our dear state.
As I also want to agree with you, say amen to that. Well, you mentioned market. We're going to our market in public places in Ondo State. It is no gainsaying that there are no proper convenience. And you know that open defecation could also be a source of this cholera outbreak. So what are the efforts to make sure that Ondo State is zero open defecation?
Yes, thank you very much. We, some months ago, the Honorable Commissioner for Water Resources and Public Hygiene embarked on campaign against open defecation. And in some states in Nigeria, some years ago, a state of emergency was declared on open defecation. And we thank God in our dear state here, we're doing our best to ensure that public places are being provided with sanitary conveniences. We make a campaign to the motor parks, to markets, and we in the construction of our markets in Ondo State here by one of our former governors. It was perfectly constructed, and all markets that were constructed under that governor were given sanitary conveniences. But unfortunately, people mismanage it. We have many of them in Akure that when we get to the market, we saw the sanitary conveniences are not accessible, are not even what we can write them about. They are produced, they are constructed, but the management of it were not that so, were not taken care of. So we are moving back to those practices that we want to ensure that all those conveniences were bring back to life, so that our people at every point can have access to sanitary conveniences and to stop open defecation. We have large people spend a lot of time in the market than home. You leave your house by 6 a.m. at least, at most by 7. You leave the market by 8. So you just got home back and eat and sleep, and in the next morning you are out. So people tend to spend more of their time, lively more of their time.
The traders
In the market. And with that, if there is no conveniences, it will be another issue where they will just defecate anyhow. And flies can pick those things and move down to uncovered, ready prepared food items.
That's exactly what could happen, and that's why
yes.
I'm trying to hammer on
yes,
that, because
we have
right now, as it is, not many of those public utilities, yes, are in good shape and condition, and so that's why I'm asking. Now that the attitude of Nigerians generally towards public utilities is bad. Is bad. But as sanitarians, what are you doing to make sure that there is a reorientation of the people, especially when it comes to maintenance of these sanitary facilities?
Yes, what we are doing right now is sensitizing the people again, because we will continue to sensitize.
Where is the point of sensitization?
Right now, we are everywhere. Like I was saying, that some of our people are in the market some weeks ago, some days ago, trying to do more about the sensitization of our people on the subject matter. And as well, as we are sensitizing, we are also enforcing, because the two will go together, because we will continue to sensitize and sensitize and sensitize, and if there is no enforcement, there is not going to be any change. So now we are enforcing some of these markets that we know that the government has put up some structure, some structures has been put up for them to use, but they are the one not using it well. So now we are going to enforcement. Enforcement is that we query the iyalojas, babalojas on how
somebody should be held responsible.
Yes, for how the maintenance of that places. And like some markets expose these conveniences for free to people, and with that they tend to abuse it. And some, when they see that this thing is free, they will just use and leave. But we are encouraging them now that those facilities, they should bring it up in place and put some change on it. The change they put on it can be used to maintain. There will be somebody positioned in that facility to maintain the facility, that when you use it, when you are coming out. This is very common in the north. It's very common in part of the state in the south as well. And that's what we are introducing now, that the maintenance should be engaged, should be handed over to somebody, that at every point, when we get back there, the person will be held responsible of any misconduct.
All right, on a final note now, just before we go, I just want you to speak to the people of Ondo State and Adevia, wherever it is they're watching, what needs to be done to make sure that we stay out of diseases, especially cholera outbreak at this time.
Thank you very much. My people are fathers and mothers. Cholera is not a friendly disease, and at every point we should ensure sanitation. Let's clean our environment. Let's maintain an healthy environment. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Ogidebe, for coming on the show today and for enlightening us on what needs to be done, how to stay clear of cholera and all that. Yes, we take this break now, and we'll return shortly.
as Nigerians, we must remind ourselves that no matter how complicated democracy may be, it is the best form of governance in the long run. We must also be aware that there are those among us who will try to exploit current challenges to undermine, if not destroy, this democracy for which so much has already been given. This is the great battle of our day and the major reason we specially celebrate this day as Democracy Day. The true meaning of the day is not to focus solely on the great deeds of the past that have brought us to this point. Yes, we pay eternal honor to those who laid down their lives, sacrificing everything to pave the way for the nation.
Today, this morning, I told you that we still have a discussion for you when we're back from that break. And today we are looking at, we're still going to be looking at some issues that concerns governance, the trends, government, deliverables in democracy and all that. And to discuss this with us this morning, I've got in the house with me, we've got in the house, Engineer Alex Oladimiji is the immediate past executive chair of the federal local government. It's nice to have you, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Fiato.
All right, yes. Talking about towards successful Ondo 2024. Where is your position? Who are you supporting? Let me start from that.
Your question is funny. Yeah, I'm a shifting of APC and the immediate past executive chairman of federal local government, and I've not changed my party. And I happen to be the director general of Ayedatiwa Partners in the federal local government during the primary election. That's a sign, and they prove to tell you that I am for Ayedatiwa 100%. So, and I believe he's going to win the election because he has all it takes, and he has support base and grassroots supporters to win the election.
Somebody will want to know, why do you pitch your tent with Mr. Governor? Why are you that one?
I've said that, and I can say more of it.
Yeah, there's more of it.
I say I am a party man.
Okay.
And Ayedatiwa is the candidate of my party. That's one. So, secondly, apart from being a party man, and I've known Ayedatiwa for a long time before he even became the deputy governor. Then I know him to be a party man too. He was part of the people that supported the party to go. Likewise, I remember then I started partisan politics in 2014 and 2012 rather, and I knew Aiyedatiwa too. Then, and you know, he has been with the party up and down. He has been financially supporting the party before he became the deputy governor. Now that he's the candidate of the party, as far as I'm concerned, he has paid his due. He's not an accidental candidate. He has been on the radar from 2012 that I knew him. He has been with the party. He has never defected for once. And I think people like that are the people we're supposed to support, because it's different from somebody that just came from nowhere, or maybe somebody who somebody just anointed without grassroots base, without being a financial member of a party. And I think that's why it's not, like I said, it's not an accidental candidate. He has been with the party, and he has paid his due. I think it's necessary we give him our full support.
Given the situation of the country, you know, some people would want to argue that states that are currently going to the polls may want to deviate from the party at the seat of power, you know, at the national level, because of the situations of the country right now, especially when it comes to the issue of the economy, security, and what have you.
Yeah, thank you. I believe the situation of the country has nothing to do with the party, because as I'm talking to you now, I think...
but it's a party man steering the wheels of this nation.
I disagree with you. It's a system. It's a system thing. It's not an individual thing. Unless we want to play politics with it. If we want to be factual and be sincere with ourselves, we discover that what is happening to us is not about party. It's not about party. It's about system. And you know, there's no way you make a change that you won't have the effect, either positively or negatively, and it depends on what we are thinking and what we want to stand to achieve. Yes, I think the major problem we are facing here is as a result of fuel subsidy removal, and we believe, and the government knew that we have this challenge, and government is putting everything in places to make sure that things fall back to normal. Nigeria's situation is as good as a family. Let's use a family analysis. A family who has every other thing to live, but probably begin to live a fake life. Probably a family that doesn't have anything inside, but outside, people believe. So you have to, when you want to bring that kind of family to normality, truth color of that family has to be shown, so that people who tend to assist them or put them in a normal way and show them the way. We know. I think Nigeria live too much fake life, and now reality has dawned on us that we cannot continue with subsidy. Is not sustainable, and I believe it is high time we solve it now, face the challenge now, and come out of it later, rather than all the subsequent government keep on pushing it. Somebody has to do it, and this government has taken the bull by the horn and said that yes, we have to do this, and there's no way there won't be ripple effect, and the ripple effect of subsidy removal is what we are facing. And you know, in Nigeria, we have a lot of let me say empirical analysis of economy rather than fuel. But because why we face it is because we don't have light. Our light is not, and that fuel is attached to a lot of things. But I'm assuring you that with this situation now, things will get back to normal. Economy will boost, and I believe people keep on saying salary. Economy is not about salary. It's not about civil servant alone. It is not all Nigeria that are civil servant. You understand? Because I heard somewhere yesterday that civil servant, once they increase their salary, another inflation, I disagree with them. And I told them that what percentage are the civil servant compared to the
But just as you said, that it's a ripple effect. Whatever is given to civil servants also goes back to the system.
It will form a ripple effect, and I will tell you what. Already, the inflation is up. Yeah, it's just going to be normal. I didn't mean that we don't have challenges of first subsidy. Yes, I will agree that maybe increasing the salary of civil servants will cause inflation. But already the inflation is up. It's just, for me, it's just normal for the government to increase civil servants' salary.
Right,
it's just normal, so that they too can because everybody in the market now has hyped their services, their prices. I think it's normal. It's for civil servants' salary to be increased now, and it won't cause any inflation.
Let's leave that. All right. Most of the time during campaigns, politicians like to compare happenings of certain political parties in the ends of affair in other states or probably in the federation as a mark of saying, see, since we belong to the same political party, what so and so is doing in so place, or at the federal level, we're going to replicate here. What are those things? Do you think Mr. Governor has something from the federation that is saying we're going to replicate in Ondo State? That is sellable.
What are we replicating from federal government? Everybody has their own manifesto. Yes.
But it's APC.
The APC
manifesto. Be similar to it.
No, let's get it right. Yes, APC is our party, and we have probably manifesto in court. But every state governor has their own manifesto. You cannot say because we are APC now.
But it's good for democracy.
Huh?
For everybody to just run their things rather than saying there should be color to each. Shouldn't there be color to each political party? Let's say when we know that this pattern.
Our APC party is a progressive party. I think that is what comes out to us. You understand? But when we talk of deliverables, it's different. Okay, what the federal government is doing, their responsibility is a little bit different from the state. So we cannot say only that probably the state will just in a whole replicate. No, the state, that progressiveness, I think that is what general to the APC.
But the progressivism will be seen in how you tackle security, economy, education, and things like that.
That is why I say it's different. The situation of security situation in Ondo State now is different from the security situation in Zamfara. It's different from security situation in Kogi. So every state has a peculiarity, and you will approach your state according to the peculiarity you have. You understand? The major challenges that everybody has now is food security. That's the major challenge. And the simple fact is that you cannot give what you don't have. People don't go to farm anymore. You understand me? And I believe things are changing now. Based on my personal experience and what I'm seeing now, I believe if we continue in this way, in the next 2-3 years, we won't talk about food problem, because I want to believe people are in the farm now. People have gone back to farm, either commercially or subsistence farming. People have gone to farm, and the price of food this week.
Are you saying it as a matter of fact? For instance, probably in Ondo State, people are going to farm.
Not only that
numbers.
Not only in Ondo State.
I know, but
across the country, but specifically in Ondo State, I know for sure. I am a farmer. You understand me? And I know the people who I've talked to in the past that they were just joking. They were not asking to farm now. They're asking me, what can I do? What can I do? How do I do this? You understand me? It has done on everybody that we have to go back to farm. Because even if you have the money, if you don't see what to buy, the money becomes useless. You understand me? Yes, we know in this part of the world, it's not everything that we can plant. But the one we can plant, let's do it. We can use it to be a kind of trade by barter, where we produce yam here. We can get rice from somewhere else and sell our yam, and everybody will be happy. You have, if we produce and I produce, things will be cheaper. But if you don't produce the one I produce, I want to ration it for everybody, and we have the price, and we have to eat. As far as I'm concerned now, I think the major problem we have is food security, and
And how is your candidate going to address that?
You remember,
How is he addressing
I will just give you a straight answer. I remember 2 weeks ago, the governor had distributed farm implement for people just to go to the farm. And you know, this was done based on cooperative farmers association, and I witnessed it. I think your television you know, show it for everybody to see, and that's part of the effort of the government to make sure that everybody is going back to farm. They were giving feed, they were giving some corn to plant, they were giving what they are calling this machine.
Tractor?
They were getting, not tractor, tricycle, not this normal tricycle for transport, tricycle for farm to
Cart farm produce.
So, and they were giving, some were giving palliative in their farms. Some who are poultry farming, they were giving some feed, they were giving, they were encouraged. And I think that is the starting point. And the governor said this is going to be a continuous event. And I believe he has started well, and I believe he will continue with that.
So, Mr. Ladmidi, you are attributing this new awareness in farming that you are making us realize now, are you attributing it to the efforts of His Excellency Honorable Aida Tiwa?
And I won't really say that, yeah, but that is normal for governor to do. You understand me? And I want to assure you that the situation we are now, any right thinking government will know that the way to go is farming, and they will do everything possible to encourage whoever want to go to farm. And you know, there's what they call cocoa revolutions, and I believe you know the price of cocoa in the market now. And even before now, I think the government have put in place to do cocoa revolution, and I think they have a lot of cocoa farm at Dubere. Then I remember, and every year they give seedling, cocoa seedling, free of charge to people to plant, so that at least we'll go back to our previous source of income. Because Ondo State is known for cocoa production in those days, and with the encouragement of the government and their participation, I think we'll fall back to life. That's I believe.
All right, towards the successful Ondo 2024, the forthcoming elections, what do you think, or what is your party doing to make sure that at least there is sensitization for the electorate, and some itches that were experienced in previous elections do not come to play this time around?
Depend on what area of your thoughts, but I believe we are not new in election. This is not our first time, or maybe this is not our second time. We are experienced political class, and I think we have experienced this election for more than 4 or 5 times now. It's not new to us, but maybe issues depending on.
We have issues of vote buying, snatching of buses.
Well, those one are just assumptions. As far as I'm concerned, I have not bought food. I have not sold food before, so maybe it's an assumption of what people think there are people are doing. But to me, I don't believe you can buy food, and I don't believe you can sell food. How do you buy food? How do you sell food?
So you're saying that it doesn't exist as far as you're concerned.
Forget about those media eyes or people say, how do you sell food? How do you buy food? As far as I'm concerned, you understand me? Because sometimes I said election is expensive, and it's not only about what people think about buying food. Is that sometimes it's a logistic, but people consider it to be.
You call it logistic.
It's a logistic. For example, now. Probably during the campaign. I'm not talking about the election day. You understand? Election day, you cannot determine. It depends on individuals, because you yourself, you can only find yourself in your own polling unit. You may not be able to know what happened in another polling unit. But pre-election day, yes, most of the money spent is based on logistics. If you are doing campaign, you have to move people. You understand me? You have to move people. You have to feed them. You understand me? It is natural. You understand me? Unless probably our system of voting is such a way that you don't need to campaign. Probably you need to decentralize it. Probably you can campaign through media. But if you are meeting people physically, it's costly demand they drink water, costly demand they make provision for their transport, and mostly this is what people consider as buying food or owing the people to their side. To me, I don't think it's what is called vote buy, and I believe this vote buy of a thing is not something you can say is physical, and I've never seen where in the polling unit, I've never seen it. It can happen. I'm not saying probably, I've not where you say, oh yeah, this is the money, come and vote for me, take money, where the police will be there, the civil defense, everybody will be there. Even if you want to do it, it has to, you must find a way to do it in such a way that people will not see it. It's not even normal. It's not morally right for you to be publicly display money during election. As far as I'm concerned, I don't encourage it, I don't do it, and I don't think it is normal.
Alright, so lastly, I want to say, what is your expectation as we approach the, this 2024 elections? What are your expectations of the politicians?
As far as we are concerned, I'm expecting everybody to conduct themselves, to believe that election is a game, that somebody will win and the other will lose. There's only one winner out of probably 17 aspirant or candidate. It's only one winner. Let's don't encourage foulers. Don't let those encourage what we give our state a bad name. But generally, as far as I'm concerned, as a party member, APC were on ground in other states, no doubt about that. I don't think we are not underrating the opposition, but as far as I'm concerned, opposition has been decimated to some extent. Unless if they are picking their forces now, yes, it is normal during election. If non-existent party candidate will say is going to win, so it's not new to us. But I'm very sure we are on ground. APC, as far as Ondo State is concerned, we are fully on ground, and we are going to deliver.
Alright, my dear viewer, I guess this is where we'll be drawing the curtain onto this show, and to a successful Ondo 2024. To discuss that has been Engineer Alex Oladimiji, a politician and the immediate past executive chairman of the federal local government. You've heard what he says, his confidence in his party and the